Hello, and welcome to The Wealth We Build, a show that uplifts the voices of community leaders, entrepreneurs, organizers, and institutional champions who are taking bold collective action to close the racial wealth gap. I'm Yessica Holguin, your host and executive director of the Center for Community Wealth, where we're building an inclusive economy that works for all. Today, we're going to talk about one of the key facets of community wealth, local small businesses, especially those owned by people of color. According to the 2024 census data, minority-owned businesses represent approximately 22.6% of the U.S. employers, totaling around 1.3 million businesses. We know they play a significant role in the Colorado economy. Today, I am joined by my guest, Kimberly Bonner. Kimberly, thank you so much for being here today.
I'm happy to be here.
We're really excited to dig into small business support and the work that you're doing at Center for Community Wealth. So before we start, tell me, what is community wealth for you?
Community wealth, to me, is a marked departure from traditional economic development, where we focus on local communities, local businesses to expand opportunities. It's a local first approach to economic development, I think.
Thank you. Why does that matter?
I think it matters because for so long in economic development circles, it hasn't been a local first focus. It's been attract and retain. It has been attract large multinational corporations to cities, give them lots of incentives to come. They may or may not stay for a long period of time, whereas you have so many homegrown local businesses that contribute so much to local economies. They hire people who are in our communities, in our neighborhoods. They invest in the infrastructure of our communities and neighborhoods. And that's why I think this local first approach is so important. And I'm excited to be part of this movement.
Thank you. And I think one of the things that we've seen is that the trickle-down economics is not working.
At all. At all.
Tell me a little bit about the services at Center for Community Wealth and with caterers, with the cater cohort, and how we're slowly changing the way that institutions are utilizing our local caterers.
Well, I joined Center for Community Wealth a little more than 2 years ago. And when I arrived, there was this Feeding Anchors program that focuses on the catering industry, local diverse caterers in the Denver metro area, and really getting them prepared to better handle larger contracts, particularly with anchor institutions. And anchor institutions include universities, hospitals, local and state government agencies. And that's been going on. Isn't that one of the oldest programs at CCW?
It is.
And so I was fortunate enough to be part of that cohort in 2024. And the capstone of all of it is this big event that we've invited members of the community to called Eat Local Food. So this Feeding Anchors program has been going on since 2018, I think.
Yes.
And we have about 24 caterers, and we are so proud of them because they're so strong. We have one local caterer that is Momo Dumplings that won Best Dumplings in Denver. Like, people think that, because they're local homegrown caterers, they're not absolutely outstanding. They are outstanding, right? We've got Nicey Smullen. These are people who just went through the 2024 catering cohort. Nicey Smullen, Wicked Ambitions. She just catered the big grand opening that we had for the
Collective Economic
Innovation Hub. I will know that name of our building shortly. But the Hattie McDaniel building on Welton Street. We have just so many great caterers, and I'm not the program director for that or program manager for that. It's Marcela Gallete Fuentes, but our caterers are outstanding, and a lot of money is coming to them, and we're hoping that program will expand and make an even bigger impact.
when we think about opportunities, what a wonderful opportunity, right? Because so many of these institutions already purchase food. We're not asking them to do something different. We're just asking it to do it in a different way.
Exactly.
And so instead of ordering from the large corporations that are pretty much paying people minimum wage, we're asking them to look at our local talent. And like you said, they're not sacrificing quality.
At
they're
all.
not sacrificing anything. And they're supporting that entrepreneur that is supporting our community.
Absolutely. You know, nothing wrong with Panera, but I'm biased. We just had a catering event in Mama Ja's, which is a local, locally owned BIPOC business. Is terrific, and her catering, it's premium plant-based soul food, is phenomenal. And folks eat her food, and they're just like, "Can I get more?" So you're not sacrificing anything by using any of these caterers. You're actually benefiting them and yourself.
Yeah, it is definitely a win-win. So I think one of the other areas where there's a lot of opportunity right now is in building. So tell me about the BEST program.
The BEST program is very new. We decided to build this program, which is called the acronym is, well, it's Building with Entrepreneurs in the Skilled Trades, BEST. And we decided to build off the success of the Feeding Anchors program. And it is a cohort-based program focused on local, diverse businesses that are smaller, less than 10 maybe employees. And again, most of them Denver-based, and needing opportunities to connect with prime contractors, anchor institutions, have a better grip and handle on how to appropriately respond to RFPs, getting their bonding together, insurance, all the details that more established, I think, skilled trades businesses know because many of them have been mentored. Unfortunately, in this smaller category of, micro skilled trades businesses, they're not getting the access to that information and that mentoring. And I firmly believe, based upon feedback that we're getting, that BEST is filling that gap for them, and they're getting the mentoring, the connections, the information that they need to succeed.
Why is BEST so important or such a big opportunity right now?
I think, again, there is a gap in the market. For whatever reason, I can't really understand why, but I keep hearing that from our best entrepreneurs. They don't have access to, there's a social capital, right? There's an access to people, access to relationships, access to information, and our BEST program is a bridge to that. And so Carlos Boyd, the CEO of 303 Construction, has said it repeatedly that the BEST program and the Center for Community Wealth serves as a bridge to get over this moat, right, of information access, relationship access, just details that you wouldn't be privy to unless somebody made it accessible for you. And so that's our attempt to do that. The opportunity for skilled trades right now is so big because we have a housing shortage. Everybody knows we have infrastructure issues, not just in Denver, but all over the world. And the skilled trades, they're booming right now, and they probably will be booming for the foreseeable future. So we want to be part of that. We think that we can really do tremendous work in closing wealth gaps by focusing on this industry and, again, serving as a bridge for our micro businesses to get the information, resources, and access they need to really flourish.
Yeah, it sounds like the demand is definitely there for the skilled trades. And
Yes.
so how do we capitalize on that and make sure that some of our tax dollars are going to these that we have approved as taxpayers through propositions? How do we ensure that those dollars stay locally, circulate locally, and ensure that they're actually building the community outcomes that we want to see, right? Or contributing to the community outcomes that we want to see?
I think the procurement piece is really critical to that, right? I think there's a And that's where Jervis DeChico, the director of Anchor Strategy, he's doing a lot of work working with our anchor institutions to really make government contracting or whatever procurement processes generally more accessible to our smaller businesses, because it can be very, very cumbersome. The requirements are very daunting, and that makes accessing these markets almost impossible. So that's one way that we're doing it. And I think probably in the future, maybe we will do more to talk to our government leaders specifically about how to streamline processes and make just accessing these taxpayer funds more accessible to taxpayers who are our small businesses. So.
Yeah. What's the opportunity, and thank you for sharing anchor institutions and the role, what is the role of everyday community members in utilizing small businesses?
I think, our community members are critical. They're our customers, right? Yeah. And we are here to serve you. It's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about the whole economic development movement related to community wealth, because there's much more of a focus on our local communities and addressing the needs of our local community members. Everyone is a customer, everyone is a client in our local community, and we're not going anywhere. Hopefully our businesses aren't going anywhere, and we're accountable to them. Right? And we need them to survive. We need them to thrive. So there is this local focus that I think is beautiful about community wealth. And it's also beautiful about the businesses that we are growing, whether they're helping to grow, whether they're the caterers or the skilled trades businesses.
I love this idea of interconnectedness and the recognition that we depend on these local businesses and we want them to stick around, and these businesses also depend on us. And so when you think about that mutually beneficial relationship, we can create the conditions that our communities need to thrive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what support do you all currently offer to these cohorts, and what does that look like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, when we're in the middle of a cohort, it's a lot. It's, developing the curriculum, sometimes teaching, sometimes recruiting our facilitators. We call it technical assistance. For those who don't know what technical assistance means, that's basically really focusing on hardcore problems that our small businesses are having, or projects that we want them to help finish or accomplish. So there's the development of the curriculum, the facilitation, technical assistance, and then ongoing, many times there's that technical assistance can consist of things like getting loan ready, right? Dealing with HR issues. Obviously, the whole responding to RFPs is a huge component of the technical assistance that we've done over the years that I've been here. Getting ready to hire staff, sometimes getting ready to fire staff, all these things. So getting into the weeds with our businesses to help them really build their capacity and hopefully scale effectively.
So it seems like there's a very intentional process of not just here are the classes, good luck with it, but really walking alongside the business owner as they're going through the technical assistance to make sure that what they learn, they can apply it in the business.
Absolutely. Because we want them to succeed. We don't want them to just go through this, get a certificate, and it's not impactful. We really are committed to creating impactful leaders in these industries. So whether they're, caterers or construction industry leaders, we really want to support them to become movers and shakers in industry.
Yeah.
So.
And imagine the impact that that can have in the ripple effect that that can have in our
Exactly.
communities, when business owners can step outside and think strategically about
Yes.
how their business can not only grow, support good jobs in our community, but really become that beacon of hope that is so needed in our communities
I
right now.
totally agree with you.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the challenges that our small businesses are currently facing.
Well,
We can take a deep breath on that.
you know, it's always challenging being a small business owner. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, but it's probably one of the most rewarding. But in this environment, so many things are moving, and we're in an environment of constant change, that it's hard to plan, right? Whether it's your cost of goods being increased because of tariffs and wars and gas prices and all the things. So I think being a small business owner in this environment is really difficult. And it's one of the reasons why I think our community members really need to be deliberate in supporting local small businesses. Because these larger multinational corporations, they have reserves, they have, exactly.
They're just fine.
Your hands say it all, you know. They have so many reserves to be able to pull on. But our local small businesses don't. They don't. And so they really need the community to support them during this very difficult time.
Yeah. There was a recent survey that was conducted by one of the coalitions locally, and we saw that not only the increase in cost of goods sold, increase in rent is also putting a lot of stress in our businesses. The uncertainty of the conditions are making consumers purchase less.
Very much
which
so.
is also the reality. I think one of the areas that I was surprised by, and I shouldn't be, but the extent in which small business owners are dealing with their own mental health as they're running a business, as they're supporting their family, as they're creating economic opportunities, and having to hold it all in the space of uncertainty that is really weighing heavy on them. Are you seeing some of that with your businesses?
I'm definitely seeing a lot. I'm seeing that with everybody.
Yeah.
If we're going to be honest, I'm seeing that with everybody. And because of that, because of the volatility and the chaos in the world today, we need each other. Like this hyper individualism is a mythology. Like you're not going to succeed. You're not going to maintain your mental, emotional, financial health trying to be an island unto yourself. And so I tell all of our small business owners, if we're going to make it through this very challenging period in this nation's history, we're going to have to do it together. Yeah. We're going to have to do it in community. And more of a reason for everyone to join the Center for Community Wealth and be part of our cohorts and our networking events. And just being a small business owner is just too hard to do it alone.
Yeah. Especially when the resources are not always there.
Exactly.
Or the social capital isn't there.
Exactly.
So what advice would you have for entrepreneurs or somebody wanting to start a business?
Whew. When I saw that question, I was like, where to begin? Really do a critical assessment of yourself first. Because as you just mentioned, it's very difficult.
Not for the faint of heart.
It's not. And we've glamorized being an entrepreneur, and we've glamorized being a small business owner, but it's not for everybody. So there's got to be a critical self-assessment and a critical assessment of your self-leadership skills, because there's nothing wrong with being a number 2 at a very successful company.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with that, because this is hard. So self-assessment is first. Once you check that off, and I did that really early in life, because my mom and so many, everybody I knew was like, she's going to be a CEO when she grows up. So I knew that I would always have businesses in some capacity. But the next thing you have to do is determine whether or not you have a solid, viable market. Because a lot of people have, and this is what I've seen my entire career, a lot of people have great expertise, right? They have great expertise. They spent 20 years, 30 years doing something. But the problem is, are people going to buy that? Right. And so that's a hard lesson for a lot of people to learn. But you have to determine really, really quickly, are there customers for this? And the quicker you figure that out, the better. So start small, start selling to friends and family, start doing pilots. People laugh all the time about people starting garages. You got to start somewhere, but try to determine if there's a market for your idea as quickly as possible, and sell and iterate and sell and iterate. You're going to make mistakes, but that's, I think, if I was to give 2 critical pieces of information, it would be, or advice, it would be your self-assessment. Very critical. Most people skip that. And is there a market for this idea? And a lot of people skip that because they have a passion for something, and then they're disappointed.
Yeah, and if you're going to fail fast, right?
Exactly, and move on.
Yep, and find the other idea. Because what I find is that once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur.
Very true.
And so there will be other opportunities to iterate, to try a different way, and then figure out if that's gonna have a market.
Absolutely.
That's really important. Kimberly, what is your vision for Denver when you think about small businesses for the next 20 years?
Wow. My vision for Denver, and particularly the work that we do, I envision these incredible leaders in industry. Like, it would warm my heart if I'm still living to see the seeds that we planted in these various industries. Now they're caterers and construction. It may go on to other industries. Literally having very healthy, vibrant businesses in underserved communities, hiring people, giving people who, the Facebooks of the world would never give an opportunity to, right? Or even the Amazons of the world would never give an opportunity to. And these leaders of these businesses perhaps become worker-led, right, businesses, and not only change the trajectory of themselves, but their workers and their communities. And I really, in 20 years, it would be great to see them like as leaders, like sitting in seats of authority in Denver. Like, so-and-so, leader of so-and-so, they're on this council and that, and mayors deferring to them. That would be a dream come true. I would love to see that, because that's real systems change, I think. And that is really the democratization of our local economy, when people who are homegrown, right, really from the ground up are committed to representing not just themselves, but the people that they serve as well. So,
yeah, imagine the ripple effects of that. Imagine if people with lived experience are the ones actually making decisions, actually crafting policy to support our local communities. Yeah.
It would be totally, a lot of the problems that we see wouldn't exist, because they'd be like, no, this doesn't work for the average small business owner, and we can't do this. So, yeah.
Yeah, the voices have so much power. Anything else you would want people to know about the work you do, or any way that they can?
Well, now that you ask, we're going to have another cohort in the fall of 2026, and we of the BEST program. And so, if you're interested, please reach out to us, apply, and we'd love to have even more great people and leaders involved with this program.
Yeah, I love that invitation. And even if it is, send us your information so that we can keep your information on the list, and maybe even join shopbypoc.com.
True.
This is a really good opportunity
Absolutely.
to also elevate the voices of our local businesses, even if it's not catering and the skilled trades. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, Kimberly, thank you so much for being here today, for sharing about your work and the beautiful vision of our strong local economy and the way in which decisions can be made in our community. Thank you. And thank you for tuning in today. For more information on Center for Community Wealth, please visit our website, communitywealth.org, or find us on social media, CCW Denver on Instagram and Facebook, or CCWB on LinkedIn. Thanks for being here.